The following is a described video. If you would like to watch the video without audio description, please follow the link in the description. Fade from black to a close-up metallic shiny BlackBerry logo, then to various shots of a boxy matte black tablet with curved edges and a simple elegant design, also with a shiny BlackBerry logo. It has a 7-inch screen and a volume rocker and power button at the top. If I had to mark a point where I could predict BlackBerry's future departure of the mobile hardware market, this would be it. At this point, though, I could also see the possibility of a bright future for this iconic Canadian company at the same time. With so many innovations and new ideas packed into one product, it was difficult to understand how this product had already failed just a couple months into its life cycle. This product came out at what I believe was the high renaissance of mobile consumer technology. It was the year 2011 when the iPad 2 came out and Siri was introduced to the world. The Samsung Galaxy S2 had began its Android dominance, and Ice Cream Sandwich brought a truly competitive Android to the market. That also happens to be when the BlackBerry Playbook came out. The Mobile Museum intro sequence plays, then switches to a shot of the Playbook with a live background on the screen and the Mobile Museum label right next to it. Now, I could sing the praises of the BlackBerry Playbook for many hours, and perhaps I will do a sequel of this video at a future date. But today, I want to talk about how this product was not the success that I thought it would be, or at least hoped it would be. When I first picked up this device after many years in my closet, I remember how much I loved it. Its black, soft plastic design has a premium feel thanks to the weight it has. A person wearing blue gloves swipes up on the screen, and that wakes the tablet. Then cuts to a shot of the tablet playing a vivid and colorful demo video. It is quite minimalistic and almost reminds me of a ThinkPad. And in fact, it feels like it was designed yesterday, not almost 10 years ago. The tablet is being taken out of a neoprene carrying case with a BlackBerry tag on it. Every edge of this product feels intentional. Its round corners and boxy design are really comfortable with the bezels giving ample room for my fingers to grip. It is honestly quite thin compared to the tablets today, and the two front-firing speakers invite you in with its great sound. The tablet is shown with two small notches made up of grills on the left and right of the device's screen, which are the speakers. Then, cut to a shot where the gloved hand swipes from one end of the screen to the next, which switches between the applications on the tablet. Its smooth UI brought multitasking in a mobile device unlike before. Its screen is bright, colorful, and great from almost any angle. Just about every good feature it has been adopted on mobile devices today, like the iPad Pro and the iPhone. Things like cursor support, a file manager, and a gesture-based navigation system are all included in the Playbook. I mean, just look at the calculator app. It remembers its previous calculations, it converts units, and even calculates tips, and can split the bill between multiple people. Need I remind you that the iPad Pro does not even have a native calculator app? But then when you actually start using it, you start to understand why this didn't take off. When it first came out, it competed with the iPad for around the same price as the iPad. A pan across the app drawer of the operating system of the tablet, which reveals it is rather sparse of apps. It was clearly rushed out to the market because it didn't come with native email clients or a calendar. You had to connect it with your phone in order to get those features. With poor initial sales, they lowered the price from $500 to $200, and at that point, it was quite a steal. It sold all right, but for most consumers, it was more like a bargain bin item rather than a prize, like the iPad was. BlackBerry really lost its prestige. The blue hand navigates through the interface, showing various apps. It still worked really well in workplaces, with many productivity applications pre-installed. It had a micro HDMI port to do PowerPoint presentations, as well as Docs to Go, which is an office suite. Features like that were not commonly found on mobile devices. It even allowed users to use their BlackBerry phones as a clicker while presenting PowerPoints. I'd like to think that it sold well to businesses, but with a name like Playbook, it seemed like they wanted it to be for the family, too. It had Need for Speed Undercover pre-installed, and had music and video stores on it as well. My thoughts about the failure of BlackBerry is not like many other YouTubers. It isn't that BlackBerry failed to adapt or failed to innovate. They did that really well, and perhaps even better than others. I think they rushed on their innovations. I don't think the world was ready for what they had to offer. People were not yet as familiar with operating touchscreens and mobile electronics. An iPad mini is brought in front of the Playbook, and the blue gloved hand clicks the home button on the iPad, causing it to exit out of its app and return to the home screen. People wanted a simple button that they could understand so they could hit when something went wrong. With a touchscreen, people don't know what to press because the whole screen can be a button. They were not willing to think outside of the box and interact with the bezels because every device taught them that only the screen was able to be interacted with. These features work now because we are already acquainted with what our phones and mobile devices are capable of. BlackBerry wanted to redefine the industry just 1 year after the iPad was released. They wanted to make a bigger splash, but instead, they were left in the smoke. They needed to accept that their tablet was going to be inferior, that it no longer could be the cool kid on the block. This tablet was not ready to face on such a big competitor, and with so many essential features lacking and an app store that was not comparable, they were no match. The Playbook is shown with the BlackBerry app world loaded on the screen, and it looks very dated. The device demanded such a large change of workflow without the cultural following that would allow that change. That is why I think this tablet failed. A transition plays, which leads to a shot much like the opening shot of a live wallpaper playing on the BlackBerry Playbook beside a mobile museum label. To me, this tablet is all the things that makes me love BlackBerry's products. It has so much charm and creativity in one refined design. Everything about this product wants to pave its own road. The iPad and the Playbook are placed next to each other, with the gloved finger trying to press the BlackBerry logo beneath the screen furiously, where the iPad would normally have its home button. Then proceeds to press the iPad's home button instead. Everything wants to rewrite what has already been established, and it seems like for every innovation that was ahead of its time, it was a demonstration of ignorance at the same time, a failure to understand that it had already lost control, that Apple's revolution had already taken over. BlackBerry should have been making a retreat. They should have been working on making a recovery. And some would say it was arrogance, but I think it was only human to do. Perhaps it would have been better for them to blend in with the crowd, to copy everyone else. The gloved hand places a BlackBerry phone with a keyboard on the table, and to follow like lemmings, but BlackBerry chose its own fate. In the grand picture, the Playbook represents the sandy foundation of BlackBerry's sunk cost fallacy that is BB10. Despite the beautiful piece of art that is the BlackBerry Playbook, it is hard to ignore the tragedy of its failure to be accepted. Or rather, perhaps, instead of trying to ignore it, it's better to embrace it as its history. Slowly, the camera moves back away from the BlackBerry Playbook and the mobile museum label beside it in the center of the screen. Then it fades to black. A transition plays to switch to the end screen, which has 2 clickable videos in the middle, and a sign that leads viewers to visit the description below for links to the website, Instagram, and link to the channel. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I think it is one of my favorites. We'll be releasing another video next week, so if you'd like to see it, stay tuned and subscribe to be notified. Have a nice day. Then fades to black.